For the next 3 days, I want you to do something that sounds crazy, but could completely change your life. Don't change your job. Don't change your friends. Just change how you talk to yourself. Because the loudest voice in your life is the one inside your head. And that voice can be your biggest enemy or your greatest power. Your mind listens to your words, every single one of them. It doesn't argue, it doesn't question, it simply absorbs. When you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, your mind doesn't say, wait, that's not true. It quietly agrees and starts building a reality around that belief. The way you talk to yourself becomes the foundation of how you see the world and how you move through it. Think about it. When you say, I can't do this, your energy drops, your motivation fades, and your focus shifts to reasons why you can't. But when you say, I can figure this out, your brain starts looking for solutions, for possibilities, for power. Words are not just sounds, they are commands. Every word you speak to yourself carries emotional weight. Your subconscious mind is always listening, recording, and shaping your behavior according to the instructions you give it. If you feed it fear, it builds barriers. If you feed it faith, it builds bridges. You may think you're just talking, but in truth, you're programming your future. That's why it's so important to speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love. You wouldn't look at your best friend and say, you're a failure, so why do you say it to yourself? You wouldn't tell someone you care about that they'll never make it. So why do you whisper it in your own mind? You deserve the same encouragement, the same grace, the same belief. Because every time you repeat a phrase to yourself, you are either watering the flower of confidence or the weed of doubt. The most powerful transformations don't start when the world believes in you. They start when you believe in you. And belief is built through repetition. Tell yourself, I am capable, long enough, and your mind will start showing you reasons why it's true. Tell yourself, I'm worthless, long enough, and your mind will find proof of that too. The voice inside your head can either imprison you or free you. It's the voice that says, you failed before, but you can rise again. It's the voice that whispers, keep going, you're growing, you're learning, you're becoming. So, for the next 3 days, I want you to listen carefully, not to the world, not to the noise, but to your own inner voice. Because once you learn to speak to yourself with power, love, and purpose, your life will begin to move in a completely different direction. The moment your self-talk changes, your entire world begins to shift with stop negative self-talk. Because it's one of the most silent, yet most powerful forces destroying people from within. Most of us don't even realize how often we do it. We wake up and think, I look terrible. We make a small mistake and instantly say, I am so stupid. We compare ourselves to someone else's success and whisper, I'll never be like them. These words seem harmless, but they cut deep. They create invisible wounds in our self-esteem, and slowly, day by day, they become part of how we see ourselves. The mind doesn't distinguish between truth and lies. It simply accepts what you repeat the most. And when you constantly feed it negativity, you build a mental cage that limits your confidence, your ambition, and your happiness. Negative self Talk doesn't only affect your emotions, it changes your energy, your body language, and your ability to take action. When you tell yourself you can't do something, your brain stops looking for possibilities. It starts collecting evidence to prove you're right. Suddenly, you notice more failures, more reasons to quit, and more things to be afraid of. That's how powerful your words are. They shape the direction of your life long before you take a single step. Imagine carrying a friend on your back who keeps whispering, "You're not enough." You wouldn't make it very far, right? Yet so many people live like that, carrying their own voice as a weight instead of a weapon. It's time to catch those thoughts in the moment. Every time you hear yourself say something harsh or limiting, pause and challenge it. Replace "I can't do this" with "I'm learning how to do this." Replace "I always mess up" with "I'm improving every day." Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I'm growing into my best self." These small changes may sound simple, but they rewire your brain. The words you use create new pathways of thought, and those thoughts create new patterns of action. Over time, you'll start to notice how differently you feel when your inner voice becomes your ally instead of your enemy. You deserve to be spoken to with love, especially by yourself. You don't need to be perfect to deserve kindness. You just need to remember that growth takes time, mistakes are lessons, and your journey is not defined by one failure or one bad day. When you stop feeding your mind with negativity, you make space for hope, courage, and clarity. You begin to see yourself as capable, worthy, and in control. For the next 3 days, be intentional. Pay attention to the words that echo inside your mind. Every time you catch yourself saying something negative, turn it into something that builds you instead of breaking you. Because if you don't speak life into yourself, no one else's words can truly fill that space. The power to rise, to heal, to transform, it all starts with the way you talk to yourself. Affirmation repetition is not just a motivational trick, it's a mental transformation tool. When you repeat positive words to yourself every morning and every night, you're not just saying them, you're reshaping your mind to believe them. The first time you say, "I am confident," your brain might resist. It might whisper back, "No, you're not." But that's because for years, you've trained it to believe otherwise. You've repeated words of doubt, fear, and insecurity so many times that they became your truth. Affirmations work the same way, but in the opposite direction. The more you repeat something positive, the stronger it becomes. Slowly, it replaces the old, limiting beliefs that used to hold you down. Think about it like this. Your thoughts are like grooves carved into your brain. Every time you think or say something, you deepen that groove. If you keep saying, "I'm not good enough," that path becomes easy to follow. Your mind automatically goes there. But when you start saying, "I am improving," "I am strong," "I am capable," you begin creating a new mental path. At first, it feels unnatural, like walking through thick grass instead of a clear road. But with daily repetition, that path becomes clearer, smoother, and easier to travel. Soon, your mind starts choosing that new path automatically. That's the power of affirmation repetition. It's not magic, it's mental rewiring. Affirmations are also about emotion, not just words. You can't just say them like a robot. You have to feel them. When you stand in front of the mirror in the morning and say, I am worthy of good things, say it with belief. Say it with a spark in your eyes, as if you already have the life you're dreaming of. Your brain responds to emotion. It listens when you speak with conviction. When you pair your words with emotion, they sink deeper into your subconscious mind. Over time, those positive words become your inner truth, guiding your thoughts, shaping your actions, and influencing your results. Consistency is the secret. Saying your affirmations once won't change your life, but doing it every morning and every night for 3 days, then for a week, then for a month, that's when the shift begins. It's like watering a plant. One drop doesn't make it grow, but daily care does. In the beginning, it may feel awkward or fake, but that's because you're challenging the old programming. You're teaching your mind a new language, the language of belief, confidence, and self-worth. And what's beautiful is that the effects go beyond your thoughts. Your energy begins to change. You stand taller, speak clearer, and move with purpose. You start to notice opportunities where you once saw obstacles. People around you begin to sense that energy, that quiet, powerful confidence that comes from within. You stop waiting for others to validate you, because you've already given yourself permission to be enough. For the next 3 days, I challenge you, start and end your day with powerful affirmations. When you wake up, say, today, I choose to believe in myself. Before you sleep, say, I am proud of who I'm becoming. Speak these words out loud, even if your voice shakes. Because repetition is how belief is born, and belief is what shapes destiny. The more you affirm your power, the more your life will reflect it. So keep speaking it until your mind believes it, your heart feels it, and your reality shows it. Energy follows focus. It's one of the simplest yet most powerful truths about the human mind. Whatever you focus on grows, and whatever you ignore fades away. If you constantly focus on your problems, they begin to feel heavier. If you keep replaying your failures, they begin to define you. But when you shift your focus toward what's possible, even in the smallest way, you begin to attract new energy, new ideas, and new strength. Your focus is like sunlight through a magnifying glass. Wherever you direct it, things start to burn with intensity. That's why it's not just about what happens to you. It's about what you give your attention to. You may not control every situation, but you absolutely control what you choose to see in it. Most people waste so much energy fighting what they don't want instead of building what they do want. They focus on fear, on what could go wrong, on how others might judge them. And as they keep thinking about it, that fear grows stronger. They drain their energy worrying instead of working, complaining instead of creating. But when you focus on what's possible, even when everything seems uncertain, something inside you changes. You start seeing opportunities where there were only obstacles before. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? That simple change in focus turns weakness into wisdom and pain into purpose. Your focus is your fuel. If you spend your day focusing on everything that's missing, you'll feel exhausted, angry, and defeated. But if you spend that same day focusing on what's already working, on what you can improve, and on how far you've come, your energy multiplies. The situation might be the same, but your perception transforms it completely. A person who focuses on problems finds more problems. A person who focuses on growth finds more growth. Life gives more of what you choose to see. Every great leader, athlete, and achiever understands this secret. They know that energy goes where attention flows. When they face setbacks, they don't dwell on what went wrong for too long. They quickly shift their focus toward solutions, toward possibilities, toward progress. They protect their focus the way they protect their dreams, because they know that once you lose control of your focus, you lose control of your direction. Think of your focus as the lens through which you see life. If that lens is covered in fear, doubt, or regret, everything you look at will appear blurry, dark, and hopeless. But if that lens is clear, filled with purpose, gratitude, and hope, you'll start seeing light even in your darkest moments. That light is what fuels your motivation. It's what keeps you moving forward when the road feels uncertain. For the next 3 days, I want you to pay attention to what you pay attention to. Notice where your thoughts go when something doesn't go your way. Do you spiral into negativity, or do you redirect your energy toward what can be done? Each time you catch yourself focusing on a problem, pause and ask, is this helping me or draining me? Then consciously move your attention to something that empowers you, your goals, your progress, your potential. The truth is, your energy is limited, but your focus decides how it's used. You can pour it into worry or into growth. You can waste it replaying the past, or invest it in creating the future. The choice is always yours. And when you consistently choose to focus on what's possible instead of what's painful, you become unstoppable, because your energy starts serving your purpose instead of your fears. Talk like a winner, because the language you use shapes the person you become. Winners aren't born confident. They build their confidence by choosing powerful words, even when life doesn't go their way. The way you talk to yourself determines whether you rise after failure or sink into doubt. When challenges come, and they always do, your inner voice can either break you or build you. A loser's language sounds like, I can't handle this, I'm not good enough, or this is impossible. But a winner's language says, I will figure this out, I can improve, and this may be tough, but I'm tougher. That's not arrogance. That's training your mind to believe in possibility. When you talk like a winner, you start thinking like one. And when you think like one, your actions follow. Words have vibration. They carry energy that moves through your body and into your behavior. When you say, I can't, your shoulders drop, your breath shortens, your motivation fades. But when you say, I can handle this, your body lifts, your chest expands, your energy rises. Your words create your emotional state in real time. Most people don't realize that they are constantly predicting their future with the sentences they repeat every day. If you keep saying, I'm always unlucky, life will prove you right. If you keep saying, I'm capable of handling anything, life will prove that right too. It's not magic, it's mindset. You attract situations that align with your self-talk because your words control your actions, and your actions shape your results. Winners also understand the power of replacing excuses with ownership. They don't say, I can't do this because they say, how can I make this work? That small shift changes everything. Excuses close doors, questions open them. When you speak with determination, your brain starts searching for solutions instead of problems. It's like turning on a light switch in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see paths you didn't notice before. Talking like a winner doesn't mean pretending life is easy. It means choosing to speak power even when life feels hard. It's not about ignoring reality, it's about shaping it. Every morning, when you wake up, your first words set the tone for the day. Most people begin with complaints. I'm so tired. I hate this job. I'm already stressed. And then they wonder why their day feels heavy. Winners start differently. They say, I'm grateful for today. I'm ready to learn. I'll handle whatever comes my way. They start with intention, and that intention becomes momentum. When you make your words powerful, your mindset follows. There will be moments when self-doubt tries to creep in. That's normal. The difference between a winner and everyone else is what they say next. When a winner feels fear, they talk themselves through it. They remind themselves of their past victories, of the times they didn't give up. They speak words that reignite courage. You don't need a perfect life to talk like a winner. You just need to refuse to use weak language. You need to remove phrases like I'll try or I hope and replace them with I will and I can. Those words carry power. They tell your brain that you're serious. Talking like a winner also means talking with respect to yourself and others. It's about maintaining dignity even when you're frustrated, about speaking calm in the middle of chaos. Winners don't waste energy on gossip, complaints, or self-pity. They use their voice to motivate, to plan, to grow. Their language is disciplined, focused, and empowering. You can always recognize a true winner not by their trophies, but by the way they speak when no one's watching, the way they speak to themselves in silence. For the next 3 days, listen to the words coming out of your mouth. Every time you say something negative or limiting, stop and correct it. Replace I can't with I'm learning. Replace it's too hard with this is a challenge, but I'll find a way. Say it until it feels natural, because it will. Your mind will start to believe what it hears often enough. And once your self-talk becomes that of a winner, your results will naturally follow. Talking like a winner isn't pretending. It's deciding that no matter how tough things get, you will always speak power over your life. Because when your words carry strength, your life starts to reflect that same strength back to you. Mirror talk is one of the most powerful exercises you can ever do because it forces you to face the truth, not the world's version of you, but your own reflection. When you stand in front of that mirror and look directly into your own eyes, there's no hiding, no pretending, no mask. It's just you and your truth staring back. Most people avoid that kind of confrontation because it feels uncomfortable. They see their reflection and immediately notice flaws. I look tired. I'm not enough. I've failed too many times. But mirror talk isn't about appearance. It's about reconnecting with the person you've been ignoring, yourself. It's about standing there, eye to eye, and saying words that feed your soul instead of starve it. When you start this exercise, it might feel strange. You might laugh. You might feel awkward or even emotional. And that's okay. That's because you're not used to affirming yourself. You've spent years hearing your own voice only in criticism. But something powerful happens when you begin to replace judgment with encouragement. You start to rebuild trust with yourself. You begin to realize that you don't need anyone else to validate you. You can give that validation to yourself. When you look into your own eyes and say, I believe in you, you're strong, you're healing, you're becoming better every day, those words start to land differently. They go straight into your subconscious mind, bypassing the noise of the world, and plant seeds of confidence. Your reflection becomes your reminder. Every morning, when you see yourself in the mirror, you're reminded of who you are becoming, not just who you were. You see your own progress, even when the world doesn't notice. You realize that your power doesn't come from what others say. It comes from what you choose to believe about yourself. The mirror becomes your partner in growth, a silent witness to your transformation. Some days you might not believe the words you're saying, but that's exactly when they matter the most. Speak them anyway. Say them until your voice no longer trembles. Say them until the reflection looking back starts to smile with genuine belief. This practice isn't about ego, it's about empowerment. It's not about saying, I'm perfect, but about saying, I'm worthy even when I'm imperfect. It's about reminding yourself that you can make mistakes and still be deserving of love, respect, and another chance. Every time you talk to yourself in the mirror with compassion, you're rewriting the story that doubt has been narrating for years. You're replacing I can't with I will, I'm not enough with I'm growing, I'm broken with I'm healing. You are reprogramming your subconscious mind, and it listens closely when your words are backed by direct eye contact and emotion. Imagine how different your life would feel if, for the next 3 days, you started and ended each day by standing in front of that mirror, looking into your eyes, and speaking your truth with strength. No distractions, no pretending, just pure presence. In the morning, remind yourself of your potential. I am capable of amazing things today. At night, remind yourself of your effort. I'm proud of myself for showing up. Those moments build inner confidence faster than any compliment from the outside world ever could. Over time, you'll begin to notice something subtle but life-changing. Your posture changes, your tone changes, your energy shifts. You carry yourself differently because you start to feel aligned with your own power. The mirror no longer shows you flaws, it shows you progress. You'll begin to meet your own reflection with gratitude instead of judgment. And when that happens, when you finally learn to see yourself through eyes of love, you stop chasing validation from others. You start living from a place of strength, peace, and authenticity. Mirror talk is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding courage in imperfection. It's about standing before your own reflection and saying, I'm still here, still fighting, still growing. It's about reclaiming the voice that was once silenced by doubt. And when you do that, when you consistently look yourself in the eye and speak words of belief, you start to feel a power that no one can take away. That's when you realize that your reflection isn't just an image, it's a conversation with your future self, the stronger, wiser, more confident version of you that you're creating, one powerful word at a time. Rewrite your inner story, because the one you've been telling yourself all these years has shaped everything you believe about who you are and what you deserve. Every person carries a story in their mind, not the story the world sees, but the private one whispered in moments of doubt and silence. Maybe your story has been full of fear, disappointment, rejection, or mistakes. Maybe it says, I'm not good enough, things never work out for me, or I'll always be this way. That story feels real because you've told it so many times that it became truth inside you. But the truth is, it's just a version of the story, not the only version. You have the power to rewrite it at any moment, and when you do, you change the direction of your entire life. Think about how your story began. Most of it wasn't even written by you. It was shaped by what people said to you when you were young. A teacher who doubted you, a parent who criticized you, a friend who betrayed you, or a moment where you failed and never forgave yourself. Those words became chapters, and those chapters became identity. You began to define yourself by the things that happened to you instead of what you learned from them. But you are not your past, you are the author of your present. You get to decide which pages stay and which ones end here. Rewriting your inner story doesn't mean denying your past. It means reframing it. It means saying, yes, I've been through pain, but that pain gave me strength. It means taking the same story that once made you feel powerless and turning it into proof of your resilience. Instead of, I was abandoned, you write, I learned how to stand on my own. Instead of, I failed, you write, I discovered a new way to try again. The facts don't change, but the meaning does, and that's where freedom begins. The meaning you give to your experiences decides whether they imprison you or empower you. Every time you tell yourself a story, your brain records it as a memory, even if it's only emotional. When you replay a painful narrative over and over, your brain keeps you stuck in survival mode. But when you start retelling that story with compassion, understanding, and hope, your brain begins to heal. The same events that once made you cry start to make you proud. You start to see how every dark moment carried a lesson that brought you here. That's the power of rewriting. It doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. Take a moment and imagine your life as a book sitting in your hands. Every chapter has already been written up to this point, but there are blank pages ahead waiting for your words. The pen is still in your hand. You can continue writing the same story of limitation, or you can start a new one filled with courage, purpose, and growth. You can start telling yourself, I am not who I was. I'm learning, evolving, and rising. The old story might whisper from time to time, but each time it does, you remind yourself, that's not my truth anymore. You have outgrown it. When you rewrite your story, your energy changes. You begin to walk differently because you're no longer dragging the weight of the past. You start to speak differently because your words are filled with hope instead of regret. You stop identifying with pain and start identifying with progress. You begin to notice that people treat you differently too, not because they've changed, but because your energy has. The world mirrors the story you tell yourself, so when you rewrite that story with strength, the world starts reflecting strength right back to you. For the next 3 days, pay attention to the story you tell yourself about who you are. Listen to the sentences that start with, I always or I never. Are they keeping you small or are they helping you grow? Whenever you catch an old narrative that limits you, stop and rewrite it immediately. Change, I'm bad at this. To, I'm still learning. Change, things never work out for me. To, I'm creating a better outcome this time. Say it until your mind starts believing it. Because the more you repeat your new story, the faster it replaces the old one. Your story is not fixed. It's fluid, alive, and evolving with you. You get to choose whether it becomes a tragedy or a triumph. You get to decide whether you keep rereading the same painful chapter or start writing the one where you finally rise. The day you realize you are the author, not just the character, is the day you reclaim your power. So pick up the pen, look yourself in the eye, and write this truth into your heart. I am not my mistakes. I am my comeback. I am the story still being written. The 3-day transformation rule may sound simple, but it carries extraordinary power when practiced with full awareness. 3 days may not seem long enough to change a life, but when you commit with focus and emotion, those 72 hours can ignite a shift that begins deep inside your mind. In just 3 days of consistent, conscious effort, you start to notice how your thoughts respond to new commands. You begin to feel a difference in your energy, your confidence, and your outlook. The goal is not to become a completely new person overnight. It's to prove to yourself that change is possible, that your habits of thinking can be reshaped faster than you ever imagined when you bring intention and repetition together. For 3 days, you treat your mind like sacred ground. You monitor every thought that crosses it and refuse to let negativity take root. Each time a self-limiting belief appears, you pause and replace it with something empowering. When you wake up, you speak to yourself with power. Today, I'm in control of my thoughts. When you make a mistake, you gently tell yourself, I'm learning. This is part of my growth. When fear tries to whisper in your ear, you answer, I've handled worse. I'll handle this too. The key is consistency. For 3 days, you practice this mental discipline without exception, because it's through repetition that new beliefs begin to take shape. At first, your mind will resist. It's used to the old patterns, the ones that replay doubt, worry, and criticism. It will try to pull you back into comfort, whispering that this new way of thinking feels fake or forced. But that resistance is the sign that transformation has begun. You're stepping out of the mental autopilot you've lived in for years. You're interrupting the loop that keeps you stuck. The first day feels like awareness. You start noticing how often your thoughts drift toward negativity. The second day feels like effort. You consciously replace those thoughts again and again. The third day feels like strength. You start to feel control returning to you, as if the noise inside your head has started to quiet down and make space for something better. By the end of the third day, You begin to notice subtle but undeniable changes. You wake up lighter. You handle small problems with less frustration. You speak more gently to yourself. The outside world might still look the same, but your inner world feels different, calmer, stronger, more centered. You realize that it was never the world that needed to change. It was your inner dialogue. Those 3 days show you what happens when you stop feeding fear and start feeding faith. It's not magic, it's alignment. You're aligning your words, your focus, and your emotions toward the same direction: growth. The 3-day transformation rule is a test of discipline and belief. It's a short but powerful journey that reveals the truth about how your mind works. You start to see that you are not a victim of your thoughts. You are their master. Every time you choose a positive thought over a negative one, you are strengthening your mental muscles. Just like the body grows stronger through repeated movement, the mind grows stronger through repeated belief. The difference between those who remain stuck and those who rise isn't luck, it's consistency. If you truly give these 3 days your full presence, you'll start to feel a spark that doesn't fade. You'll realize that 3 days are enough to build momentum, and once momentum starts, transformation becomes inevitable. You'll begin to crave that new version of yourself who speaks power instead of fear, who reacts with calm instead of panic, who sees potential instead of problems. You'll understand that the voice inside your head is no longer your enemy, it's your greatest ally. These 3 days are about proving something profound to yourself: that change doesn't have to take years. It starts the moment you decide to commit, to be intentional, and to believe. So, for 3 days, talk to yourself with love. Speak to yourself with conviction. Every time you look in the mirror, remind yourself, I'm becoming stronger. I'm creating peace. I'm proud of how far I've come. Do it until it feels natural. Because after 3 days of consistent, conscious self-talk, you'll realize something incredible. You've begun the process of becoming your own healer, your own motivator, and your own guide. And that feeling, that deep inner shift, is where real transformation begins.